The Berlin Wall by Matthew Jablonski and Andres Prieto. The end of World War II left some in victory and some in defeat. Most believed that the ending of the war would bring on global peace, but this was not the cause for the people of West and East Germany. The Berlin Wall was constructed by the Soviets, which would devastate and separate families for generations to come. Germany became divided after World War II and was split up into two main parts. East Germany became communist, which left people poor and starving. Many people began to flee from East Germany due to its horrible conditions, and the leaders of the Communist Party devised a plan to build a wall encircling the east and west border to keep the people from leaving their controlled land. This wall would be responsible for the separation of families, the loss of jobs, and death due to anyone who wanted to leave. The wall was constructed overnight on the 13th of August, 1961, and brought shock and grief into the inhabitants. The East German police had put up 97 miles of fencing overnight, equipped with watchtowers, turrets, artillery, and barbed wire. Some people were completely cut off from their families, who they had been with days previously. This also made the unemployment rate skyrocket, since people either lost their jobs in the East, since their economy was so poor, or they couldn't even get to their jobs, which was on the other side of the wall. Anyone who attempted to get to the other side of the wall would immediately be gunned down and were even taken into custody. This made for gruesome scenes, as the Germans wouldn't even clean up the bodies, leaving an example for anyone who attempted to clear the wall. During this time, the Berlin Wall was on international news. The new news of the wall made it to USA in 1963, and President Kennedy gave his speech denouncing the actions of the Soviet Union. Summarizing Reagan's speech, the problem with the wall was that it wasn't solving any problems of the recently defeated Germany. The wall just made life worse for the German and Belgian citizens and ruined many other lives. Kennedy's speech triggered a chain reaction of protests about the wall across the USA and Germany. In May of 1972, the Transit Agreement was arranged by the Soviet Union to reduce pressure from the protests. This rule allowed for families in the east side to cross over to the west. This gave the people of Germany hope, as it proved if they tried hard enough, they could eventually get rid of the Berlin Wall. It also rallied Germany, as it had been divided into two nations since 1945. This gave the people of Germany hope for the future and the motivation to move on from the past. As more time passed on, the rallies and protests got more hardcore on matters about the Berlin Wall. As the Vietnam War ended in 1975, the U.S. could focus more on global issues and the increase of their allies going forward. This was a peace phase filled for the people of America, as they were coming off almost 18 years of war. In 1987, Ronald Reagan gave his famous speech about tearing down the Berlin Wall, which would once again put loads of pressure on the Soviet Union and the German government. Here is the ending of the part of Reagan's speech.
Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Notice how in Reagan's speech, the people listening are clearly excited and waving around American flags. This was not only heard by just them, but also by the people listening on the radio. In that moment, everyone throughout Germany, east and west side, had felt like one nation. This started even more protests, speeches, and political awareness campaigns that everyone knew the Soviets stood no chance against the proud singular nation of Germany.